I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
This is from me, much thanks to Middle Earth. Okay. Heathen Foray, Leben, which is Life in English, taken from their album Oathbreaker in 2023. Ranked number 5 of 20 on my personal albums of the year list of 2023. Holy shit. This is you, Controller? You had a top 20? I happen to know the vocalist personally.
Oh, wow.
Seen the band live once in Vienna. The translation from my second foreign tongue to my first foreign tongue. And the translation edited and improved from an already translated text. Okay, so we're getting the translation of translations here, dear listener.
The most accurate.
This is the most accurate translation. You can trust it, believe me. And if you know Controller of Minds, you will know that if he says he's on that, he's on that.
On it.
Let's do it.
Is life. Wow.
Bruh.
Unbelievable.
Bruh.
That was a good one.
Oh my God, I love that freaking song.
Why do I have a feeling you're going to have a hard time giving this one a rating?
I love this freaking song, dude. First of all,
I want to see those lyrics too, because
it was power metal, and I do not like power metal. But it caught me by surprise, which I'm pretty, because nobody told me it was power metal. You see what I'm saying? Nobody said, "Yo, we got a power metal song coming." Now this thing is all out of order, so I'm gonna try to find these lyrics here. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Talk
it
to
might
the
be
people.
up in his comments.
Yeah,
right there it is. Right there. I control it. Right there. Yeah, that is friggin' unbelievable, right? I think. I loved that they had the kid in there, and he had his little wooden sword. It was really cute. I liked visually where they were set up, like having that kind of like building behind them.
Yeah,
and
you
then
guys,
the
in the official video, his kid is in there, and his kid's like helping with the folks. It's pretty
cute.
It's pretty beautiful. It's pretty beautiful.
They have him doing like some yelling parts too. There's like a hole in the wall, and he's like standing. You know, one of the people is standing in the hole in the wall, and it's a lot of times you see band members like all close together. These people were all separated out, and you just kept seeing them in their own screen. Yeah, everybody's doing their own thing.
The landscape was beautiful.
Yeah, it really was.
Golly, man, nobody does that shit like them pagans, bro.
Yeah.
With the like, this is our land, these are our folks, this is our way type
Roots
shit.
Go
like,
deep.
Yeah, and then they pass the shit on to the next generation. You got the little homie. Little homie. It's like, go ahead, little pagan. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, little pagan.
Nah, I love them people, bro, because like the more and more technological we get, which we're supposed to do as
little kick on Sadie, as we talk about the pagans.
Yeah, like you're supposed to advance in technology and all that shit for sure, but you know, everything's about balance, man. Like you gotta have that connection to your past. Like I was just watching this thing about Neanderthals and humans and all this shit. Like it's just fascinating shit. Like we gotta have that connection. At the same time, like we gotta go forward, obviously. And you know, it's just like it's kind of like the reemergence of Orthodoxy is another thing. Like where out of nowhere you've got this Orthodox resurgence in a evangelical, and I think it's because the Orthodox and you know the Catholics, when they're serious, have a big primer on the fathers, and there's a big primer on church history, and you know they have an instinct to look at what happened, you know, back in the fathers before they have an instinct of locating a verse in the Bible, which I think is leaves them weak in certain areas, obviously speaking, but I also think it's appealing to people like us who have been raised in this sort of like microwave environment where whatever happened in the last 5 minutes is the only important thing. And you know, the people before us are, they're all bad. I mean, hell, they're all bad. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know, regular, you know, I mean, I just imagine being young. It's like, man, I don't want to go. And that's why you start to see people doing this ancestry thing and stuff like that. Like I mean, what's going on with that? Like, why is that such a huge thing? Where, you know, now people want to go. It's because, like, it's great to be a modern person and have all this cool stuff at our fingertips, man. But it's like, where did we come from? Like, what were we? What were we about? What were our ancestors about? Like, why do we, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think also that, like, chaos or chaotic lifestyles or maybe internal unrest is also, you're more drawn toward the Orthodox because there's like, these are the systems, this is the way that it is. Like, oh, you have like this word and what the word means, but then, so you might be looking at what the word means to get the meaning, but there was a deeper meaning if you go back in time because there's an understanding that you lack. If you're lacking an understanding, you're a modern person and you're reading a text from so far back. It's funny because I was just talking to somebody who was posting this Orthodox stuff like I saw a couple posts that were Orthodox and I was like, have you always been Orthodox or is this like something new? And she was like, no, my husband and I converted like 8 months ago. But Orthodox has some really interesting stuff.
Well, this one, in the beginning, we are all small, wishing we were all big. We want to hear, learn, see all, wander every secret winding path, opened, glad, both feet planted in life. take it as norms, weave it, rustic, real and wonderful. Furthermore, reaching for the stars. So it's like you're when we were young, and I think when he says we, he's talking about just humanity.
Oh yeah, when I like watch the little kids exploring things, taking stuff out, like they just want to like make messes. And it used to, when I had my first kid, it used to annoy me. I'm like, you stop making messes. Why are you doing this? This is not good. You have to be orderly. And now like I look at it more like it is a mess. And I'm not like completely good with the mess, but I know that they're exploring and they're learning. So anything that they can get in their hands that's new, they're like, they spin it around, they look all over it. And I'm like, they're just exploring the world that they're set in, and this is all new to them. And it's just taking stuff out of bags is like super exciting when they're at a certain age, like finding secrets, I guess, hidden in some places. Oh, thanks, Tina.
Tina Medina in this bitch. So yeah, like it's talking about like that desire to explore.
Yeah.
And the desire, as Christians we say the dominion mandate, or God kind of like left the world uncreated in a sense and sent us out there and go finish the job type of deal.
I think also that part where it said wander every secret winding path. There's a wonder that you have as a child and you don't have a lot of fear. So like every little path is like, oh, there's a secret down there. What's it going to be? Where, as you age, that can change.
Free as I am.
So I wish to remain, want to show life of my teeth.
Breathe in life. It smells of adventure, of moss, of forest and campfire, of love and of friendship and wine.
And wine.
Wine. And at some point, most of them grow up. Wish they were back to a life far away, a life full of happiness. That then lies so unexpectedly so close to the inner self, hidden behind duty and norm, as a new self in an old world. Ooh. Free as I am. So is this new self in an old world, or maybe a young self in an old world? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think the world is old, but you're new because you're older. So you've lost that childhood, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so you're a new self, you're a different person, but you're still in the old world. So you're like looking down that secret. So, as a kid, you look down that secret path and you're like, there's wonder, there's there could be surprises. I mean, there's rocks there, mica, and then you get older and, experiences happen and stuff. And then maybe you look at the path and you're like, that could be dangerous. There could be, you watch too much true crime and maybe he's talking about stuff like that.
Yeah. Interesting. That is because they didn't believe in souls. They only believed in aspects of self. That's interesting. A life full of half of them.
Free as I am. So
that one right there is so close to the inner self, hidden behind duty and norm. See, that's one of the things where the curse on Adam really, because I remember being a kid and I remember like looking at the curses and being like, okay, by the sweat of your brow you'll eat bread.
Yep.
That's inconvenient. Because when I was a kid, you're out in Jamaica or you're out in Florida, you're going to play, you're going to sweat. But it was like, then you hear about the horrors of childbirth. I'm like, holy shit, Eve got, oh my God, this is terrible. It wasn't until we were pregnant for the first time. And I felt that pressure that if you don't go to work, you can't come through for this old family that you just built. And these people are depending on you. So fuck your feelings. Fuck how you feel. Mm-hmm. Fuck how much hours of sleep you got the night before. Fuck how you feel about your coworkers. Fuck how you feel about your boss. You got to go out and get this bag, bro. Whereas before it wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. It was like, I'm going to get up and go to work because I want to be a good employee, because I'm a Christian. I want to be a good example to people. Mm-hmm. I'd get up and work. I mean, I wasn't a terrible worker. I was a good, you know what I'm saying? But when you get that job and then you get put into the teeth of this system, and I remember I remember the most explicit place I found it was I was like on a 500-mile-an-hour train for about a year out in Houston, and so my time had done up. My little we'll visit there, set my vacation time over there, and winded up, And they're like, all right, we want to send you, because I had just gone down to Lexington, then I did Houston, and they're like, yo, we could, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, nah, man, actually, I'm going to chill out. They're like, what? I'm like, I want to chill out. So I didn't re-up, and I came back to Maine to hang out. And I decided, you know what? I want to do like regular work, man. I want to do like, a 9 to 5, whatever. So I go and I apply at the Walmart distribution center, subhanAllah. In my mind, I never took the job serious because I knew I wasn't going to be there for a very, very long time. And I had just done so many other, like I said, I had just gotten off of this 500-mile-an-hour train I was on every day. So, like, I'm like working at the distribution center, but like, I would look at the guys there and like, there was just this and it was just repetitive work and like, not disrespecting anybody, but like, there was like this deadness in their eyes that they, and it was like, you could tell they hated where they were and they didn't get the weird random opportunities that I got to have certain things on my resume so that I could like literally show up anywhere and like they'll, you'll be, more than hired or whatever, so like this was it for them. Yeah. And there was this one dude and that dude was working like open to close 15-hour days every day, and he had like a whole family back home and all the rest of it. But you could tell this was all he had, man. Yeah. And so like just working every single day where he says that line where it says, the inner self hidden behind duty and norm. It's like, you have to be there. Look, as Control says, I am going to work. 1, to be there with my fellow working class colleagues, and 2, because I gladly pay my taxes and no way contribute to society indirectly. And, that's kind of the point I was getting to is like for guys or just, unfortunately now it's both. Mm-hmm. You're in a 2-income household for most people. That's where they really feel the curse, man. Because it's like this sort of drudgery that's sort of like you have all of this genius inside of you that you're not getting the opportunity to express or experience because you're caught in this system where you have to do this thing. And so
consuming so much time.
And so the people who really do well with that are people like Controller who can find ways to add a transcendent meaning to what they're doing instead of just I'm here making money for these people or I have to pay these bills or whatever. But that is a process for most of us. You know what I'm saying? Most of us have to like fight with that drudgery, And so it's like when I think about what we do, it's like because when I say we haven't come up with a just economy yet, that's what I think this is ultimately what I'm talking about. We don't have an economy where people's native passions can be monetized and livable and thrivable. Right.
There's a small percentage of people that get to do that.
Exactly. Like the rock, and that's the real appeal of the rock star and the football player and the whatever is when people say, oh, you're a millionaire, we don't feel sorry for you. They're not saying that the millions solve all your problems, but it does take one giant problem off of your plate. Yeah. Which is you get to now completely be what you want to be. And the labor that you do is all going to be a labor of love, which is what kids do. Mm-hmm. Everything they do, little kids, especially our 3 and 4-year-olds, they don't see the difference between work and play. They don't see the difference. I remember the first time my mom...
What do you mean? Every time I try to tell them to clean, they know the difference.
The first time my mom like showed me how to like clean the bathtub with the soap and the
oh, when they first started? Oh yeah, it's all exciting to them.
You see what I'm saying? Like it was all a game. And then they're like, you know what? Fortnite is more entertaining than doing this thing. Like, but they're not thinking about work. They're looking at what's more fun than what's not. Like, we have another association with the concept of work, which I think is a cursed understanding of work. But I think kids, especially little kids, it's more like, picking up is not as fun as playing Fortnite, or picking up is not as fun as making a mess. But I don't think they're looking at it like work and drudgery like we do. My kids enjoyed mopping floors for a little while. Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's just that it's not as fun as playing football. You see what I'm saying? Like they're not looking at it like work like we do. work can be fulfilling, a job, however, can be soul crushing and meaningless. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think the ideal world would create an economy where everything that you love to do would be monetized. And if you think about it, even from an Ayn Randian perspective, if we monetized at what everybody loved to do, they would do it on 10 because they love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Yeah,
the reason
exactly.
you pull up in McDonald's and everything is cold and shit is because that's not their passion.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I understand that there are a whole host of things that need to get like set in place in order for that kind of world to exist, you know. But right now, it's only entertainers and athletes that get to, you know, or you know, you find a way to navigate yourself in a brutal, you know, whatever. But I loved it, man. They talk about life, and they had the kid there, and
it was just and they had it in the forest. So you had the picture of this building that used to be like, obviously must have been something great, but now it's run down, but the trees are alive. And so it kind of like showed different seasons. And then you had the age thing with the kid and the grown people.
Yeah.
So you were seeing it in just different ways. You had, you know, different sized trees out in the forest. Like I just thought, and there was like one guy was singing in the midst of the trees while the other guy was standing on the dead roots. Mm-hmm. Like there was just so much there visually that I think that they also were trying to communicate. It was just really, really beautiful.
I do agree. I do think that AI, I think AI combined with a UBI concept, universal basic income for all, mixed with universal healthcare law, also with mental and dental would be a great. Yeah, I think if we use AI to offset certain, you know, repeatable functions, and then instead of taking the excess capital that we've now gained by not having to employ people and took that excess capital and invested in other people's ventures, then we could get there.
Say it again. If we did what?
If you had, okay, so for example, Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Like if you had AI, like in 5 years, you're probably never going to see a cashier again. You're probably going to have a Walmart, whatever. So you go, okay, that guy or that tech is going to save Walmart $2 million a year per store or whatever, right? Now, one option is for the Walmart people to go, great, I'm going to eat all that $2 million, or you could reinvest $1 million of that because you're not losing anything. You can reinvest $1 million of that into the actual people so that they all can start something that they actually want to do. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't think Walmart's going to do that, but I do think there will be companies or co-ops of companies that can say, hey, maybe we can automate this and leave this to the computer, and then we can take that excess capital and share it with the rest of the company, and then everybody goes out and parties. You know, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things that it can do. The kid is also the son of the vocalist, which is what I actually assumed. Yeah, I assumed that the kid was the son of the vocalist because it just works.
The way that he was yelling, and then the kid was yelling. Yeah.
Love the song. 9.6.
That's so funny. That was exactly what I was giving it. 9.6,
really?
Yeah.
9.6?
Yep. 9.6 across the board. Very good song. Love the visuals. You guys should check out those visuals.
Yeah, it's a really good, and it's a really interesting concept. It's really interesting how this very earthy, nature-driven video precipitated a discussion about AI, which is like the highest form of technology that we have right now.
Yeah.
And so, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's these are not opposites of each other that balance each other out. These are different sides of the same coin. But yeah, Norway's moving toward automation of the cashier. All groceries have it, and 1 or 2 real cashiers. Yeah, I mean, I doubt in 5 years we'll see a cashier ever again. You know,
I'm just looking for the day that you just put your recipe into the machine and it out pops all the stuff. So if it says you're going to have a cup of onions diced, it comes out a cup of onions diced in a bag. Like, imagine how fun that would be to cook when everything's all like prepped like that.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't have so much waste.
She didn't see Back to the Future Part 2. 9.6.
Wait, they did that?
Yeah, they basically have something like
that. Okay, 9.6.
9.6. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.